We open with a touching scene that shows that not only can love bloom on a battlefield, but also in a zombie apocalypse. Hello everybody, this is thejonnymar, and I am continuing with Resident Evil 2, the Claire Beast scenario. And we have Sherry, we have our most powerful weaponry, and that is because we have a boss battle coming up. And this is a boss battle similar to the one we took on with Leon in this particular place in the game, but it's also going to be a little bit different. So there's a little bit of a twist on it. But before we can activate that boss battle, we need to get onto this tram and train that will take us to the laboratories. So let's activate the switch. We'll hear a very annoying air horn, and then Sherry and I will get inside for a safe ride that I'm sure nothing bad will happen from.
What was that? Don't worry. Just wait here. I'll go and see what it was.
You don't have to worry, Sherry. I have a grenade launcher loaded with acid rounds. And if that fails, well, I also have lots of flame rounds and also lots of explosive rounds. And just in case, I also have lots of health, because we are going to be facing the mutated and more powerful version of that enemy we already took on previously when we came down the elevator behind Chief Iron's office. So we'll be seeing good old Eyeball Shoulder again. And the door locks behind us. I would really like to go inside again, but I can't. No, we have to take this boss on. Now, in Leon's scenario, this is a very easy battle. All you have to do is basically run away and wait for him to come to you. In this battle, things get changed up a little bit. He just wants a hug. But instead, he's gonna get lots of acid rounds. 4 shots, and then run. So the same basic strategy applies. Run and shoot, and basically what you want to do is be careful though, because he will jump at you if you run too far away. So take a few steps, turn around, shoot, and then retreat. And at max you want to take 2 shots in a row if you have enough distance. Jeez, and be very aware of his little arm attack there, because it can take you down very quickly. But amazingly, I beat him without getting hit. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. I almost always get nailed a couple times. Yeah, you don't want anything of this. Alright, so yeah, there we go. Whew. It's a tough battle. It can be. If he gets a hold of you, you know, especially if you're on caution or yellow fine, you can die instantly, so you want to be very careful. But let's head back in, let's meet up with Sherry again and continue onward.
Isn't this... That's okay. You keep it. I'm sure it'll keep you safe. Wait here for me, okay? I'm going back to look for your mom.
Thanks, Claire. Even though I'm an only child, neither of my parents ever spent much time with me because of their work. But now that you're with me, I finally have someone to rely upon.
Sherry.
Aww. You can totally trust this random stranger that you met, Sherry. We will take care of you. We won't let anything bad happen to you. And you just take care of that coat there. Make sure nothing happens to it, or else something might happen to you. But apparently the motor overheated on this train. So we need to figure out how we can reactivate it. And this is actually going to take us to a brand new area that we did not access with Leon. And so it is only available in the B scenario. We have to find this little catwalk here. That'll take us to a ventilation shaft, and that'll take us into kind of a steamy factory area. So basically what you're telling me is if I would have waited 1 minute, 60 seconds about, the whole platform would have just continued on its way and Sherry and I would have been fine. But no, I had to get out to see what was going on, and now I'm alone again and so is she. So let's head into here, this brand new area, and basically we have a puzzle to solve quickly and some items to pick up. And of course, some inventory management. So we'll grab the green herb, and then I will switch in some items and out some others. Alright, so I cleaned myself out, and we have a box to push around. Because it is a PlayStation 1 era game when box puzzles were all the rage. Now Claire is pretty ridiculous here. She's pushing this box with just her one shoulder. She's got to hang on to that grenade launcher, just in case. You'd think it would be a little bit easier to maybe put it on top of the box, or, you know, put it away into whatever her private little cache is where she puts all of her items. But you can't use this elevator in this state. What we have to do is push it entirely onto it, and then we will hit the switch. That'll take us down to the next level. We need this box to access a room that we cannot get into yet because we don't have the key for it. But I always like to just do this puzzle immediately, because once you set the box where it needs to go, it actually won't reset in the room. So it'll be good to go once we come back here with the key. So we need to push it to the right here, and then up towards those steam vents that are shooting out all of that white steam. So we have this nice little pathway. Seems pretty obvious where it has to go. But of course, in this game, it is not easy necessarily to push stuff. But we are almost there. Now we just gotta push it north and we will be good. And we're also gonna have to take on some new enemies, so you'll notice I have my grenade launcher. And I brought all of my different rounds with me. I have flame rounds for certain enemies, explosive rounds for other enemies, and of course acid rounds for the bosses. So first off, let's head down here, pick up a couple items, some more flame rounds, which we are currently swimming in, and then also some ink ribbons, and then there's a memo down here talking a little bit about a system we could have activated during the A scenario, but I didn't. This is the P-Epsilon gas. So what this does is it's a weapon that Umbrella has developed to kind of combat against outbreaks, I guess you could say. Enemies that have been infected with the G virus. So these biological organism weapons. And so it essentially causes them to break down and become weaker. So what happens is if you use it in the A scenario, it'll make the enemies easier to kill. But then in the B scenario, as you'll notice from this memo, it actually will improve the health of enemies. So it'll make the different enemies more difficult. So you'll actually have to use more ammo in the B scenario to kill them. So I don't mess with it because I don't want to have to deal with it. The B scenario is tough enough without having to use more ammo to kill enemies. So if you want to activate that switch, you feel free to do so. We don't, and I don't, so we'll continue onward. We have to find the switch in this area to activate the elevator so we can get up to the laboratories. That's right. I said laboratories, not laboratories. Okay, so we have some liquors, and these are different color liquors. Now for liquors, you want to use explosive rounds, because they actually drop to the ground, whereas flame rounds will actually fly over the liquors. Wait for them to come at you, and then shoot them. There's actually two. That one decided to not come at us. That's fine. Anytime you want to just hang back and take some explosives in the face, that works for me. Here is the switch to activate the elevator power. So we'll hit that. We'll head back upstairs. I'll do some more inventory management. And then we'll head back to where we dropped down onto our butt when we came from the train area. And that is where the elevator is. Always enjoy it in these games. So Claire fell through the vent. She fell on her butt. Potentially hurt herself. All she does to react to that is she just shakes her head and holds her shoulder up like, ah. It's emoting in a PS1 game. Ride our lift back up. Go to our item box, swap some stuff in and out, and then we'll continue onward by going to the other elevator. Alright, time to move on. Now we'll be leaving the new area and going back into familiar area from the Ace scenario. We're not done with the new rooms. We still have a few more to access, but that's it for this area, at least for now, until we find the key to open up the power room. Here we have the large elevator, and it's time for Claire to go down. In the elevator, of course. Now I've switched back to flame rounds because they are most effective on zombies. And we have brand new skinless zombies to take on. Now usually one flame round is enough to take these guys out. You just have to let it take effect. Occasionally you'll have to use two, but that's pretty rare. Now if you head to the south here, okay, he's gonna make us use two. You'll find the train, and if you go inside, there's just a tiny little scene where Claire says, "Sherry, where are you?" And that's it. So Sherry's disappeared again. But here's the save room. We have more items to pick up. Of course, more inventory management to do. And then we will start exploring the laboratories. So let's open this locker here. Do we need handgun bullets? No. Will I take them? Of course. I gotta collect everything, at least that I'm aware of. I don't necessarily know where everything is. But I do still have to grab everything if I can. Now our task is pretty much the same as Leon. We want to activate the security system, or the electricity basically, to this lab, which has been shut down. In order to do that, we need to find a fuse. Now, a lot of these rooms are actually optional. You do not have to go into them. All you're going to get in them are things like healing items or, you know, ammo. So you can really do this area pretty quick, but I do want to show off pretty much everything, and so I'll show you all the different rooms. And again, we're going to notice some different enemy placement than in Leon's scenario. So for example, in here, there was nothing when Leon came in, but we have to take on zombies. So have your grenade launcher ready. Try not to shoot into nothingness like I did. Okay. Leon got the flamethrower in this locker, but I get wonderful bowgun bolts. Again, I will collect them for no particular reason. We have a little memo here. We read this in Leon's scenario, so I'll speed through it. And on the cot over to our, well, my right, Claire's left, there's actually a sparkly, or shiny, and that is the red key card. So let us access a room Actually, a couple of rooms that we couldn't access without it. Now, like Leon, we're going to climb through the vent up here. We don't have to light the oil in order to access this vent, but we do have to take on some lickers inside. Now, this is entirely optional. All you're going to get from here is more grenade rounds. Ugh. Stupid thing. I think I got to swipe in. Alright, so we had to use, what, 4 rounds? Maybe 5? And in this locker here, we actually get 12 rounds, so it's a pretty fair exchange. Certainly worth it if you're looking for grenade rounds, and I would recommend it. They are the best against the lickers. I mean, obviously the acid rounds are, but I want to save those for the boss battles, because we don't get the Magnum with Claire, and we certainly don't get the custom Magnum. The acid rounds are basically all we've got. So that's it for this little area. Let's head back. We need to activate the power in order to get that door shutter to open up so that we can continue onward. And to activate the power, we need to find the fuse to put into this little center console. So we're gonna head back to this area of the lab. And we're going to use our red key card on the first door we can open up to again access an optional area. And we'll come back for this door later. But for now, let's head in here and take on a new enemy type. So you can just stand by the door here. If you get too close, they're going to spit at you. And that's the plant enemies. So the flame rounds are best against them because they're weak to flame, but also flame rounds go a longer distance without dropping to the ground. So they actually work pretty well against them. So we had to use 4 flame rounds, and what's our reward for this area? Why, more explosive rounds. And that is 6 of them. Again, a fair exchange. We have more flame rounds than we do explosive, and as I mentioned, explosive rounds are much better against lickers, which we are going to have to take on. The last thing to do in this area, at least for now, is to get the fuse, which is in the cold room. So this is a cold storage room for, I don't know, super technology. I never understood the need for this, but, you know, I'm not a person who deals with this sort of technology on a daily basis. We'll grab our first aid spray and we'll grab the fuse case. And that is not enough. We have to put it into this little machine over here and have the machine do its little thing. That will create a superconductor fuse. So we watch the little claw do its job. Gets to work with fuses instead of dinosaur eggs. There we go. Thank you, little claw. You have done your job. So we'll take this fuse back to that little center console. We'll stick it into that and activate the power. And in my next episode, what we'll do is continue onward in the labs. We'll find some new items, some new weapons, some new ammo. We'll access some more optional rooms and also necessary rooms. And we may just run into some characters that we've seen in the past. Who knows? So as always, viewers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will continue onward with Claire's scenario next time. Take care.